that it's time to go to the first Techpill of today. The first challenge that will be introduced by Freek Willems and Ilse Bink. Ilse Bink is the advisor of the area-oriented logistics bottlenecks, and logically her mission is as follows. Make it possible to let people and goods arrive at their destination in a smart and clean way. Freek is the coordinator sustainability at Zuid-Quadder, also for the municipality of Amsterdam, and he aims to contribute to the new sustainable standards of tomorrow. I would kindly ask Ilse and Freek to present challenge 1 and to start with your Techpill, please.
Thank you very much, Tessa, and thanks also, Edwin, for the introduction so far. I will start sharing my screen first. There we go. Yes. Well, I no longer can see you guys, but hopefully you can see my screen
yes.
At this moment. So thanks for the introduction, Tessa. And I think we both really support what Edwin has been saying about the challenges, and we are glad that we can introduce ours. Well, who are we? I'm Freek Willems, and I'm presenting this challenge together with Ilse Bink. Ilse, do you want to add something to what Tessa said?
No, I think Tessa said nice words.
Yeah, I would totally agree. I think it's better to just skip to the challenge for you, because that's what you have been waiting for. So this is the challenge we have for you today. How can we motivate the hospitality, construction and service industry to start using smarter and cleaner logistics? And we will further elaborate on this challenge. We will tell you why we've chosen this challenge for you, what the context is of the city of Amsterdam and a particular region, the Pijp, a neighborhood in Amsterdam that we are that we want you to focus on. And there's as you can see, we focus on 3 logistical streams: the hospitality, construction and service industry. So we'll give you some more information about that as well. Let's start with the why. Yeah, I think Edwin generally mentioned many of the problems that many cities are facing, and Amsterdam is definitely not an exception. It's about CO2 emissions, it's about air quality in general, noise, as you can see here. In Amsterdam, well, what I found funny about Edwin's last picture was white green streets, and we unfortunately don't have the luxury in Amsterdam of these wide streets. We have neighborhoods with very narrow streets that that basically means that we don't have similar options as many cities that have wider streets anyway. So the main goal, make transport more sustainable and more efficient space-wise, so we will have less traffic and a better livable area for the locals. Ilse, can you elaborate on this one?
Yeah, as Freek said, logistic in Amsterdam is a big thing, and but also causes a lot of not very convenient things. But without a supply of goods to the shops and citizens in Amsterdam, Amsterdam isn't Amsterdam. So logistics in Amsterdam is the circulatory system, as you could say. But you have to think about a couple of things because Amsterdam is very, very busy. Now, before COVID, there were a lot of tourists, a lot of cars, bikes. Now, you know it, everything. So different functions compete for public space and also logistic. So you have to do something to figure out where to give the space to logistics and where to give the space to other things like you can feel yourself. And logistic meets in with different policy programs. Like there's a program in a municipality about air quality, a program about fewer cars, hubs, water transport, circular economy, and logistic is part of every kind of program. So you need to see the bigger picture in this one. Yeah, this was my sheet, sorry. As a program of logistics, we of course also think about the future of logistics in Amsterdam. And there's three things we would like to have, and that's that the logistic will be smarter, lighter, and cleaner. Cleaner as in air quality, smarter as in a smart use of the public space throughout time. So you can think of the use of parking in the morning for the supply of goods, and in the evening to you can give it to the bikes. And also lighter because there's a lot of bridges and quays especially in the city center of Amsterdam, that are not made for those big, heavy trucks. So we want to have those three things, which you have to be careful because cleaner, smarter, and lighter cannot always be combined together. Because if you choose a vehicle that is clean, for example, is electric, it's almost always heavier than a not electric vehicle. So you have to make a decision, what to choose in which area. So that's also a question for you to think about what's important for the outer pipe and what's maybe less important. But yeah, to be clear, doing nothing is really not an option.
Yes, yeah, in a city of thousands of bridges, a ladder is especially important.
Yeah,
indeed. So that's, I think, an extra challenge.
And maybe also if you choose for lighter vehicles, there will be a lot of them because you can not, it's smaller, so you have to also think about that.
Yes. Let me see. Yeah, so next to logistics, we all have different sustainability ambitions in Amsterdam, and I think not only Amsterdam, it's for many cities. Basically, it's a global ambition to cut CO2 in mobility and elsewhere. So Amsterdam itself wants to reduce 55% in 2030, and like many other cities in the Netherlands, we want to use emission-free zones for city logistics in 2025. So that's only 5 years away from now. The circular economy is also a European ambition, and naturally it's also an Amsterdam ambition, and this will trigger a new way of thinking about producing, distribution and consumption. And we believe that because everything will become more local, this might have a positive effect on logistics in general. So there are policies in Amsterdam that are having a good consequence on logistics and the goals we have. But there are also other sustainable emissions, like the one described here. We want to get off the natural gas grid in 2040, which basically means that we want to that all the houses have to get disconnected from the grid, and we all need movements, maintenance people, construction work to achieve that. So it is a sustainable goal, but it will increase logistics as well. And the same goes for our solar ambition. We want to use more green energy, but it will pressure the city on more construction work and surface logistics. Ilse and I agreed not to speak only about the entire city of Amsterdam, but we want to focus on a particular neighborhood, which is called the Outer Pijp. It is a very popular residential area, and many tourists, I assume several people of you have been to Amsterdam before. The region, the North Pijp, as you can see here, is important. Is an important tourist area as well, with the Heineken experience right here, and lots of bars and a big market, which is called the Albert Kuip, as you can see here, which is the most popular market of the city. And all these hotspots attract lots of people. People need space, and people want to buy the goods, want to drink that beer or a coffee, and that's why we need logistics to deliver those kind of things, and that's why we want you to focus on the following logistics sectors. Maybe Ilse can talk a bit more about these.
Yeah. We would like to, we want you to focus on one or more of these logistical sectors. And we choose these ones because they are the most inconvenient for the Outer Pijp. But we will tell more about that later. The logistics sectors we want you to focus on is hospitality, and we made the difference in big and small. With big we mean the big trucks from wholesales like Bitfood or Sligro. And with small, we mean, for example, the cauliflowers from the local farmer, or the man who brings the fish to the stores. And the other two are construction logistics and service logistics. And we also choose to not choose for other logistical sectors such as waste, because there's an entire waste department from the municipality who is committed to this. We also choose not to think about the logistics for offices, because there isn't a lot of offices in the Oude Pijp, or not a lot of big offices. And we also choose not to focus on the logistic for the retailers, because most of the bigger retailers like H&M and Hema, for example, they are located in the wider streets of the Oude Pijp. So the supply of goods is a lot easier there than in the smaller streets of the Oude Pijp. So we choose not to include those three.
Yeah, thank you, Ilse. We will briefly tell you more about these logistic sectors. So, as Ilse said, you have the big and the small streams. Before COVID entered Europe, 3,000 vans and 2,000 trucks went in and out of the city on a daily basis, only to supply our hotels, restaurants, and bars. And that puts a lot of pressure on the city. We also know that with further urbanization, these bars and restaurants will only grow. So the pressure on the city will increase. We've already seen traffic jams and air quality issues, safety issues, noise issues that have been resulting in more complaints in this area of the pipe. So that's why we think it's a very good idea to focus on hospitality. There are some developments from our side and from our stakeholders. For instance, the University of Applied Sciences in Amsterdam, that are basically stimulating and researching whether you can bundle the deliveries to a larger range of bars, so you can reduce the amount of movements. There are also developments within the usage of smaller, cleaner vehicles, and there's definitely potential there, but it is very difficult to pursue to change the current behavior of both the suppliers or the entrepreneurs who are owning these bars and restaurants. And we hope you can be creative and can help us out on that. Then there's construction. Ilse, do you want to?
Yes, yeah, there's a lot of construction going on in the Oude Pijp. And that's mainly because the Oude Pijp is a really popular area in Amsterdam to live. So a lot of people buy houses and renovate them, mostly to make more houses of one house. And there's also a lot of renovation of shops going on. Also because the rents of the shops are very high. So if you have a year like this, maybe you need to you need to go and a new one is going in. So there's always construction logistics going on in those small streets of the Oude Pijp. And besides that, the municipality also wants to redesign various streets in the Oude, so that also brings more and more of the big trucks. And this leads also, besides of the movements through the narrow streets, also the parking spaces. They are occupied by other things than cars, for example, the big containers or vehicles, as you can see in the pictures. Yeah, all of this brings a lot of inconvenience in the streets for the people who own the shops, but also for the people who live in the neighborhood.
Yes, yeah, and with us all staying and working inside, we tend to even do more about our buildings, I'm afraid.
Yeah. And maybe a funny thing to say is I was looking for a picture of construction logistics in the Oude. So I just went to Google Maps and I pinpointed my thing, just random on the street, and this was the first thing I saw. So that's yeah. And we want you to focus on the renovation in the narrow streets, because there's also some bigger streets, for example, Ferdinand Bolstraat, but there the problem is smaller than in the narrow streets with all the old buildings. And we would like to focus on shops and houses, and you can also choose to go for the shops or for the houses. And there's a different, there's a lot of stakeholders you need to, be aware of. And what we want is that that the people will use smart building dynamics for refurbishments, refurbishment projects and individual renovations. So it's about the big things and the small things.
Thank you. Then the last logistical stream is the service logistics, which is I think one of the more unknown streams. It's basically meant for maintenance of buildings, of installations, appliances, greenery. So it's the plumbers, the gardeners, the painters, the mechanics that are going in and out of the city. They are mostly use a van for that and account for 15% of all the movements in the city, which is quite a lot, I think. Basically what we know of these of this stream is that although they use a van, they carry lots of equipment, they mostly use only about I think it was 5 to 10% of their equipment. So they're carrying a lot with them without needing it. Also, because they have a van, they always have to look for a parking spot, which takes time and makes the work less efficient. Parking prices have only been going up lately. In the city center, it's now $7.50 an hour. So there's luckily a pilot going on in our area, the Pipe, that monitors companies that are now using lighter, smaller vehicles instead. For instance, cargo bikes to, for instance, do installation work. And the first results are quite positive, because they see that that it's way more efficient in the city. You are faster at appointment. You don't have to look for a parking spot anymore. And it's cheaper because in the Netherlands you can park your bike for free. I think we have to hurry up a bit, Ilse. Can you briefly say something about this?
Yes. Yeah, the municipality is already, of course, doing things such as research, also with different Amsterdam universities, cooperation, and we also are making clear frames with clear rules, clear communication, and clear language, because there were sometimes there were misunderstandings about these things. And we're also thinking about better regulations and enforcements, such as cameras, to check if people do what they are supposed to do.
Super. So one more time, what is our challenge? How can we motivate the hospitality, construction and service industry to start using smarter and cleaner logistics? We hope that you got an insight of these streams, and hope you will help us out on this, Ilse.
Yeah, so in conclusion, it's about smarter, cleaner, and lighter logistics, in which you can also choose to be more clean, more light, or what you want. It's about the narrow streets of the Oude Pijp, so not the wider streets. And we would like you to focus on one of the logistical flows, hospitality, service, or construction logistics. And a very important thing, we would like you to make clear how you can convince the owners of the problem. So that could be the people who drive in the trucks, but also the entrepreneurs or the people who live in the Oude Pijp. What's in it for them, because we need to convince them to do something different than they are doing now, and that's a hard thing to do. And of course, we really need you with all your new and out-of-the-box ideas. They're all really, really welcome. So I hope, you have some really nice ideas to help us out.
Yes, we're looking forward to that. We added some sources that are also available in English that might help you. And I'm not sure, Tessa, what is better. Yes. We can wait for the Q&A later on, I think.
Yes, I'm sorry. I have to be a little bit strict. Thank you so much for your presentation. Unfortunately, we don't have any time to answer questions right now. Mm-hmm. I saw already a question coming in through the chat. We might have some more time in the end when we had all the presentations. But you can also send your questions to citython@carnetbarcelona.com. I will just send it in the chat, and then you can also, if you have any questions related to the challenges, they will direct them to the right people. Freek and Ilse, thank you so much.